Hmm.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We are live here and we're going to talk about a chef's fight against systematic oppression. I'm Naijha Wright Brown, co owner of the Land of Kush Vegan Soul Bistro in Baltimore and executive director of the Black Veg Society. The chef is here. Chef Ariella, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's snowing out here, and so I'm cozy looking out the window at the snow.
It's snowing out where? Where are you?
I'm in Washington State. Yeah, it just started snowing like 3 days ago, off and on. So I thought it was spring coming because it's been warm and everything's been budding, and then that good old Pisces February snow came through and said, "Nope, not yet."
No, not yet. Well, my birthday was yesterday. It was a nice hot day, so I celebrated well with great weather.
Nice.
We're here to talk about you in this fight. What does this mean? You're fighting against systematic oppression. Please tell us your story.
Man, I started my food work, well, I guess when I was a kid, my mom was always cooking and people my friends always were at the house and didn't matter what was there or wasn't there food wise, my mom always made enough food for everybody. And I didn't realize till I was older that everyone was coming because they didn't have food at home or they were in situations that were not safe, and so they came to our home as like a sanctuary safe haven. And as I got older, um I was cooking. It was just like a part of our everyday. My family was always cooking for one another, but also just for anybody that needed it. My mom, my aunts especially, were doing that. And I ended up going to culinary school, couldn't get a job, and started my own business. And as I started to do that and also tapping into the vegan community, I didn't really know anyone in Washington. And so I just started trying to figure out ways to build community. As I started doing that, I started finding out that, these kids were not having good food in the school systems, and that they were, really thriving off of like good food, but they didn't get it often. And so I started programming. I started creating a youth culinary anthropology program. It went from there to me just partnering with other organizations, still having a business, teaching people, and then just, doing a lot of traveling. And from there, it just kind of grew from one class to me working with nonprofits, me working with for profits, and then when the pandemic happened, I started Plant Based Food Share. It was just a pivot of, okay, people are in the house. We got to figure out how to make sure that they get food. And, farmers are still growing food, which means people aren't buying it. Restaurants are closing. So they're going to close down. Well, maybe we can figure out a way that we can like approach both of these problems in a way that builds community and that shows love and that shows what we want to see every day in our conversations we have in our homes and in different public spaces where we talk about connecting and building and bonding. And that's pretty much been my everyday kind of life, is like, how do we be in community better? How can we support one another better? how can i um how can I be a part of that and not look to somebody else to do that, but how can I put my energy into fostering better community and what I'm seeing and building on what I'm not seeing instead of complaining about it.
Exactly, and I agree with you. A lot of people talk about a lot of things that can or should be done, but taking that action is the most important step to addressing these issues. What
Definitely.
can you define? What is this systematic oppression that you? What is it, and what oppression? Because there's a lot of oppressions. So, can you talk to us about what that means?
It comes in so many different, frameworks, right? But the one that really hits home for me is food, food, agriculture, farming, property, eating healthy food, food deserts. Those are designed to be oppressive spaces that prevent you from being able to do anything. Because if you can't eat, you can't function at all. You can't think clearly. You can't move in a way that is healthy for you. You can't learn. You can't be productive in a job. You can't even like critically be prepared for whatever you go through during the day. So, you know, all of this, stems right from hundreds of years of like trying to make communities forget, who we are, the food that we've been eating, and the power that we have, in general, and being able to make someone forget something like that allows you to have control and allows you to make them think that they are not what they are. And that all stems to me, its foundation is food, because that's what every community's foundation is, right? You grow food, you're pregnant, you have a baby, you have to breastfeed them. If you're eating right, it's easy to do that. If it's not, and you're not eating right, and as well as other factors. I'm not saying that's the only factor, but food dictates every single thing, whether we eat or we don't eat, whether we can grow food, whether we can make money, whether we can provide from our families, whether we can take care of this earth, whether we can honor those that were here before us to take care of the earth, and what our role is, and that all is a factor of the oppressiveness of just life for us, and the lack of, being able to, be present, like really present in life.
Exactly. I love it. Food is social. Food is what brings people together, and food is not just one definition of one word. There's different cuisines. There's different
Cultures,
styles of eat cultures, different styles and ways of eating. So
yeah.
you're definitely touching on some very important points. And yes, there is control. There is a control factor there, and that's why you see a lot of our folks talking about the decolonizing and decolonization of the kitchen, starting there, getting back to our roots and growing fresh fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables and eating from the earth. So thank you for that. You
I
have
think just I wanted to add real quick when you said that. The other thing about it too, right, is not having the respect, for other cultures. There's this thing that's happening now, right, where we're calling it the cultural appropriation term, but people have been doing this for a long time, right? You eat some food, it's really great. You go to this restaurant, you go look up some recipes, or maybe you're fortunate where you can like go to the country. You don't ask for permission from who taught you, and then you come back, and next thing you know, people are saying, hey, they made this thing and they call it something different, and there's no honor to the community that you got it from, because that's culture, that's centuries and thousands and millions of years of a culture that has created whatever that meal is, that is central to their well-being and their nourishment, but also to their livelihood and their happiness as a family, because like somebody's grandmother or grandfather made this thing and pounded this yam, built this oven that was for the village or community. And just being able to honor that, I think, is a big part that we are watching is missing, especially here, like in the States. I watch so many people, making a different food, not honoring the community. But then, in the vegan community, it's different, right? Because here in Washington, a lot of vegan food is fried, and a lot of it, what people call vegan food, is Southeast Asian food, because, it's soups and stews and rices and things like that that don't have to, have animal products in it.
Right, exactly. People make it seem like vegan plant-based food is this complex thing when when you introduce it at, hey, it's your basic, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, grains, fruits. What do you eat? We eat what's growing on the ground. And now you got all these and alternative products out there. But anyway, I'm sure you know about
Right.
all of
That's
that.
another show. We need that show though.
Exactly. You are fighting this systematic oppression through three endeavors. You got Taste International, Healthy Creations, and you talked about the plant-based food share earlier in the introduction. What are the successes of these endeavors? Talk about each one of them. Taste International and Healthy Creations. What are you doing there?
Gosh, so Taste International, that was my first program that I created. I was working with Community Arts Creative Art nonprofit that's here in Seattle. And, I went to a high school, saw these girls outside skipping school, and just started talking to them. And they told me that they couldn't be in class because they were hungry and they couldn't focus. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started talking. I said, well, what if I made a little after school program? We cook some food. That'd be good. They said, I would love it. And we need mentors. We need other Black women and like show us the way and talk with us through like these experiences. And I said, oh, okay. And so Taste International was born. And Taste International is a culinary anthropology youth program. The intention behind it is to teach young people how to cook their own food, how to grow their own food. It's all vegan, all plant based, all healthy focused. So there's no um, prepackaged cheeses, meats, dairies. It's like showing people how to make that on their own. And then it's using curriculum that they are using already in their STEM programming, their math classes, their English classes, their history classes, to shine a light on what is happening culturally. What are people doing? How are they doing it? How are they living? Showing these kids how to grow this food, how to cook it in ways that are healthy, incorporating raw veganism into it, veganism, gluten free food, refined sugar free, just showing our kids what they can do and what is missing, because then that allows them to take that home to dads, moms, aunties, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, who are really the main focus, so that these kids can now connect as the youngest generation to the oldest generation, because that's the way that this has to be passed down. And so Taste International thriving, the pandemic happened, then we had to, shut it down. I was working with Hip Hop is Green as well, doing a program like Taste International within them. They have a farm, they're growing food, they're teaching at different community centers and in other cities and states, which is how we met. And so from that, you know, Taste International was my community giving, and then Healthy Creations has been my business that I started after I graduated from culinary school and I wasn't able to get a job, and people started asking me to cook for them. And so I was cooking for people. It was not a business. And I just made it a business because people kept asking me, how much do you charge? What is, like, what is your business? And I said, oh, I just want to do this to help you eat healthy or help you to learn how to cook. It was never intended to be a business. I didn't go out and say, oh, I'm going to have a chef business, because I didn't realize that was a thing at the time. Just like I didn't realize that being vegan was a thing either. I didn't know I was vegan either for a long time, because I just like stopped eating animal products and I started eating a lot more produce, and I lived down by Pike Place Market, so it was easy for me to do that where I worked at. And so once Healthy Creation started, it was about me as a private chef going into people's homes, teaching them how to cook healthy food, letting them watch me and see me do it. I am not a recipe follower. I'll create a recipe, but you really had to be there writing it down in order for you to have that recipe, because I just like create things. And so people love to be able to do that and see that and witness it, and me have them taste it. And those are the same things that my mom did. Here, I'm going to add this. What do you think? Talk to me about it. And so I continued to do that, and then kind of like an offshoot business from Healthy Creations, where people started asking me to make them vegan and gluten free and different food allergy friendly pastries. So I started to make croissants and cakes, and I started making donuts, and not bakery type items necessarily. Like I wasn't doing cookies and brownies or any of that. It was more of the things that people came and said, I have not had a croissant or bread or a donut or, puff pastry for years because they have this allergy. And they were at the end of, I'm going to just eat it and whatever happens to me happens. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. Let me see if I can create a croissant that's gluten free and vegan. And I started that way, and it just kept happening and kept growing, and people kept asking me. And so then I created Flavorgasms Donuts, which is a vegan, gluten free, um, food allergy focused donut business where people can get really great tasting donuts, as well as these meals from Healthy Creations that do not taste the way that a lot of people have expressed vegan and gluten free tastes.
Right.
And so that's not to knock anybody. Everybody does what they do. I just do what I do differently.
You
so, yeah.
Chef, you are make because I'm sitting here and you're making. I love croissants. I love don't. Now I don't eat it in abundance because I already know what it can do.
Yeah.
But you are sitting here and I'm just growing like, oh, now I need a croissant. I need a donut. Let me tell you. Let me. People, if you're listening or you're watching the replay, you really got to understand who we're talking to today. Chef Ariella. Let me tell you something. She's a loving mother, a food systems entrepreneur, a chef, a herbalist, culinary anthropologist, healer through food, nonprofit director, mentor, innovator, consultant, and community connector. Like you're doing it all. Like you're the full package. And yes, we met during through Hip Hop is Green, which is an amazing organization. Shout out to Keith Tucker. I've had him on the show a couple of times already because they're doing amazing work.
I
And the Hip
know
Hop
it.
Green dinners were were
Yeah.
were amazing, and still are if they're planning to bring them back. But we know the pandemic has impacted a lot of organizations and
Yes.
businesses. What challenges are you still facing? So we know what you faced during the pandemic because you had to stop some things and pivot. What else is going on right now? We're close to 2 years in, 20 months in. What other challenges are you still facing?
Well, I think, some of the biggest challenges we're facing is trying to connect people with the source, right? Trying to, you know, our whole focus is at Plant Based Food Share to connect the community to farmers. Farmers are struggling right now, and the community is struggling, and there's a disconnect right now with. You can look up a farmer on Instagram, Facebook, call me, however. There's ways to do it, right? And if you reach out to a farmer, a BIPOC farmer in particular, Black Indigenous farmers, are growing so much food and they want the community to buy it. So I think a big challenge right now is helping people. Good morning, baby. Helping helping
Oh,
people understand um, that if you connect with farmers, you can get food. It's not sprayed. It's organic. It's healthy. It's good for you. It's local. You don't have to worry about anything. Um, Helping people out of the mindset of, you have to go to the grocery store. Because a lot of these farmers have said, if somebody said they will come out to my farm and help me weed or harvest, I'll give them some food or I'll hire them, if they need a job. And so it's, that's one of the challenges. The other challenge is that, as an organization, as the developer of the organization, we have staff and they're amazing. We have volunteers, they're amazing. We're like 200 strong in volunteers. We still don't have enough time in the day to do everything, though, to reach out to everyone, to find everyone, to connect with everyone. So it's also a matter of being able to connect and having more time to connect, having and finding more funds to be able to buy more produce from farmers, and just being able to build these networks and connect others to them, because that's something that we find that we do. Okay, people don't know about farmers. Boom, here's a list. People don't know that there's, people that are in 5 miles radius. Boom, we created a BIPOC food map. You know, okay, so people don't know that, they can actually buy food for cheaper. They don't have money. Okay, come get this 30 to 50 pounds of free produce from these farmers that are BIPOC, that is good for you, and that I'm gonna create these recipes. I'm gonna put some inserts in there. We're gonna do some cooking classes.
I'm
You
glad
want
you
to grow
said
your own
that.
food, all that.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that because that's important. A lot of times people get things or get the produce and they're not sure what to do with it
And they
or
throw
what
it
it is.
away
Right. So
because they
that's
don't
important.
know. Yeah. And that's what was happening for us in the beginning is people were like, what is this purple thing? They threw it away. We had black garlic, people threw it away. And so like I'd call people, which I do every week. I call everybody that gets a box. Hey, how's it going? And they're like, "Oh, you guys gave me some moldy garlic." I'm like, "You know about that black garlic? Oh, you better go get that out the refrigerator." What? Go get that. That is expensive. You need listen. Go get that. And they're like, "What is it?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Oh." And I go, "Look online, see how much it costs for that bulb of black garlic you just threw in the garbage." And they're like, "What? Oh, okay." And so
Education is important.
it
Are
is
you
very
doing
important.
any virtual classes? And that brings me to any upcoming projects, because it seems like, we're slowly coming out of this pandemic and people want to get out, but there's still virtual stuff going on. Have you done any of that? Are you planning to do anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing cooking classes and virtual growing classes virtually since we began. So people get a box and I send an email out, "Hey, I'm going to do a class on the box. You guys let me know it's going to be on this day." And then however many people tune in, and then highlight, okra or eggplant or whatever it is,
I love
and we make
okra.
a recipe, and then
Nice.
I talk to them about the vegetables. So we talk about the origin of it, the ancestral history. We talk about what it does, the vitamins that are in it, how it's healing and nourishing. We talk about if people have food allergies, they get this recipe, and then we go into like here. We also offer a grow box, so we say, "Here's these plant starch seeds and soil. This is what you're gonna do. Put it. Show me what it looks like at your house. Okay, put it there. Grow it here. Plant this. Sprinkle water here. Let your kids participate." So it's a STEM project, so they get to be a part of this whole entire situation. And then people grow, and those that need boxes, they continue to sign up for the boxes. And those that don't, they say, "Hey, I don't need them, but I want to donate, or I want to support in some kind of way." And that has led us to, okay, we need a commercial kitchen. We need to be able to have chefs in there that are teaching people virtually how to do this, as well as we're going to get to this place where we will be offering food. So people that don't need these boxes, they can still be able to purchase to support plant-based food shares work in a way where they can buy a meal for themselves and buy a meal for our boxes, because we also offer chef curated family food boxes. So when people get their food box that has produce in it and bread and all that, they also get a prepared meal that's for family of like one to like nine, because we offer boxes from like an individual all the way up to like nine people in the family, and people sign up and they say what that is.
That's
And so
amazing. That's
yeah, so
amazing.
we have that whole piece. And then, we're looking at a farm. We're partnered with so many farmers out here. We have some really great partnerships happening. Um, I will give you a list, or people are interested, because we just have some really amazing, work coming down, growing more food, getting more farmers, growing year round. We have a warehouse space right now that we're working in that is amazing. So we're expanding that partnership. We're going to have this commercial kitchen. We're going to be offering entrepreneurship programming that's going to be taught by other professionals. It's going to happen every quarter. We're doing work with the senior community, offering programs for them. Plant-based food share is largely vegan focused box, but it is also focused on mental health. It's focused on emotional health. It's focused on physical health. We have a lot of families that are in domestic violence situations, that are housebound, houseless community. We're also dealing with people that are coming to us because they have health issues. They have cancer. Undergoing dialysis, things like that, where they need certain foods. And so we provide these foods for them. And we've been really blessed that nobody on our team has had COVID or any of that. Everybody's very, very clear about we are doing this work for the community, so we have to be our healthiest best, and we have to be really present. Most of the people that are part of plant-based food share also get boxes. Every volunteer that comes through, when they leave, they get a box to take home of food, because you can't give food out and support people and you don't have food yourself you
Right,
know
exactly. It's just like what they say. You got to put the mask on before the oxygen mask on before you go out and
Exactly.
help everything
Yeah.
anyone else. But what is your big ask to the viewers and anyone watching the replay of this broadcast? What is your ask?
My ask is, you know, my ask is for everybody to find local farmers to support, build relationship, connect with them, support organizations and community and people that are doing the work. If you're not listening, listen, like really hear what's happening, what people's needs are, and support that and give. And if you can't give, reach out to people that can. But at a basic level, everybody can share what somebody else is doing. I want more farmers to be supported, more people to be eating healthier food, more people to have food access. I want us to come together more and be better unified and connected with one another. I want us to not compete anymore. I want us to get some of this grant money together or raise money together on a larger scale so that we can be able to make a larger impact. And I want this to happen like locally, nationally, internationally, because so many of us are doing so many things, and not that they have to be the same, but these things can be unified because everybody's doing something different that can support one another.
I
And that's my
agree.
big ask.
I agree 100%. So you got my vote on that. That's my ask as well. Unify, stop the competitive scarcity thinking. And yes, every
Yes.
city is going through that, trying to match farmers with people that need produce. So,
Yes.
it's in Seattle, it's in Baltimore, it's in New York. So all cities are going through
Everywhere.
this. So we definitely need to support. If you weren't doing this work, chef, what would you be doing? Because this is a lot of work. I just read like 20 resume items here. Oh, you're like, if you weren't doing this work, what would you be doing?
Man, shoot. If I wasn't doing plant-based food share, I think plant-based food share would have came to be anyway because I was already doing this anyway. If I wasn't doing plant-based food share, I think I would be running Healthy Creations, running Taste International. I'd probably be on a farm or a homestead right now growing some food, have a retreat center where people can, or Naijha, you and Gregory can come on out, and come eat some papaya somewhere and put your feet in some grass. So that would
I'm looking
that
forward to
would have
that.
been what
Trust
I'd have
me.
been doing. But I would definitely would have been a mommy to my little munchkin, and we'd have been, somewhere that's not snowing right now. But yeah, I mean, everything has its plan, right? And we're supposed to do, we are guided on this path to do the work that we do, and so it's amazing, and I hope that I would be doing this whether we had a pandemic or not, because it's just shined so much light on what our needs are and helped us to come together in better ways and look out for one another. And that's like that's what it's about.
Well, how can we best follow you and your organization? And once again, please tell us why the work you do is so important. So we have follow at Chef Ariella on IG, scrolling on the ticker, and your website, healthycreationseattle.com. Is this the best way to follow you and your
That's a
organization?
good way. So if you want to order some food, yes, definitely hit up the Healthy Creations website. My Chef Ariella, you can follow me. It's kind of like everything I'm doing. Plant-based food share. We're on Instagram as plant-based food shares. So with the S. We're on Facebook, plant-based food share Seattle. We're on Twitter. I have a LinkedIn. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn on the plant-based food share Seattle .org website. You can email me there, find out all the things that we have coming up. Right now, it doesn't have all the programs, but it will in the next couple of weeks. And you can feel free to email me, Ariel at plantbasedfoodshare.org. And man, this work is big.
So that's why it's important, because it's big.
It's important. I mean, it's important. It's big, and it's gonna take us all to do it. And you know, the work is important because there's always going to be somebody that needs something, and there's always going to be people that feel like they don't have support. And largely the people that come to us are people that have been in situations where they have been in a violent situation. They're depressed, they're coming from another city, or they don't know anybody and they just need community. And so their work is so important because it is about food, but it's about showing community, showing love, showing people what it looks like. That feeling that you get a lot of people when you go to like that favorite person's home, auntie, grandma, whoever, and you come in there and they just tell you come and sit down and relax and they give you some food and it's all love. That is what plant-based food share is about. That's what Healthy Creations is about. That's what Taste International is about and the donut shop is about. Is about showing people that love is still here, that we are still together, we're riding together, we're here for each other, and we are better together. And there's no judgment and there's no negativity. It's just all love. And we want people to be in that because that's how we change all of this oppression. That's how we change all this craziness. That's how we help everyone in need. And the only thing I would, add to that is that if we let our guards down, we can let one another help each other. If we, sometimes, forgive or ask for forgiveness, we can be better and work through things. And then sometimes we just got to like do our own soul work and go within. I had to do all those things too, and so just embrace that and be one with that and reach out when you need help and know that you are loved. I love you. If I'm not in your city, just reach out anyway because I probably know somebody that's in yours.
Well, I appreciate you, Chef, taking the time out to come tell your story and share what you're doing. Folks, again, follow Chef at Chef Ariella on Instagram and the Healthy Creations Seattle.com on the website. And continue to tune in to Naijha Speaks. This is what we do here. We want to showcase folks that are doing the thing. They're doing the darn thing out there. So shout out to our supporters, Veg Fund and Welfare World, ETC Impact, Mercy for Animals through the People's Fund, nutritionfacts.org, Women Funders and Animal Rights, Stray Dog Institute, Default Veg, and Collectively, which is based right here in Baltimore, supporting Black-led organizations. Definitely appreciate your support. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this work. So, Ariel, please, thank you. Stay blessed. Again, I appreciate you coming on. There's a couple of comments that came in. Oh, okay. Thank you for tuning in, Leah. Leah says, keep up the good work
Thank
and
you,
good
Leah.
info. Thanks again. So until I see you again, please stay
Love you,
well,
Naijha.
stay blessed, and hold it down in Seattle. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.